Everybody, it's Jason, and we are back finally to teach the second half of the I Need a Lover lesson that I put up so many months ago. And now I'm glad to be back to teach the rest of the song for you, starting from the very first verse all the way to the end of the song. So we ended off last time rather on this little chunk, of riffs here. That if you watched the other video, which I hope you did, so you kind of caught up. It's these two chunks that slide on the 5th string from power chords that go from 9 to 8 and then 6 to 4. That leads into the verse. So what I do is I bring the volume knob back just to kind of clean up the distortion a little bit, and it's worked for me in the past to do it this way, to play it live. It may not be exactly what he's doing on the record, but I said it has worked for me. So you do this same riff kind of repeats throughout the whole thing up until the key change after the a cappella part. And simply the chords basically just go there, the 2nd fret of the 1st string, to the 4th fret of the 5th string, to the 2nd fret, back up to the 4th fret. So that same chord pattern goes over and over and over again throughout this whole part of the song. It just depends how you play it differently each time. So during the verse, I said I roll that knob back to kind of clean it up a little bit, and then I just kind of do something like this. And on that last one, I kind of bring that volume knob up to kind of go back into that same exact riff, however, just roll that knob up and kind of strum through the chords more. So the verses, that riff is played 4 times, and now this part, it's played twice. Kind of just play it however you want, but as long as you play the chords, it'll sound good. Then we go into another verse again of the kind of slow, kind of quiet palm muting, and then we do the exact same thing again when the part where they go ah. It's the same exact thing behind it. So that's how that goes. And then we go into another verse, and everything is the same until up to the 4th one, because that's right after this verse we get into this first chorus. So you play it, the quiet part 3 whole times. And now on that 4th one, which I just stopped there, on the B and the C sharp, you turn that knob up and you play the B, because the drums build up there. So you play the B 4 times, just strum through it, and then go up to the C sharp, and I usually do that 4 times and then start to strum a little bit faster as it goes on. So I'm going to recap that. It's going to go 4 times on the B, and then up to the C sharp 4 times. You just strum through that until the chorus rather comes in. So slow, I'll do that kind of last one. Just like that, and then you kick into the verse, which is just like the riff when they did the part. So you just do that 4 times. With the volume all the way up, strumming through the chords. That 4 times. Now, except going back right into another verse, now we go into that riff we learned quite a while ago, and I'll recap that for you here. We do 11 to 13 on the 4th string, and we hammer that on from 11. And then go to 11 on the 3rd string, and then take 13 on the 3rd string and bend it up a whole step and bring it back down. Then from 11 to 10 on the 3rd string, and then 13 to 11 on the 4th string. So overall it goes right after that. We do this riff 4 times, and then but on the 2nd and the 4th one we do a climb up instead of a step down. So the climb up goes from, after we do the step up is 12 to 11, back to 12, and slide up into 14 on the second string. So I'll play that whole riff for you, that whole chunk for you here. So it goes like this after the chorus. So you did in the last time. The fourth time here, you do that riff that we did that led into the very first verse. So that 9/8 to 6/4. So there is no step up on that fourth. There is only a step up on the second and the climb down on the first and the third of that riff. So then we go into the final verse before the a cappella part. And that kind of, we have that build up again on the very last riff. On the B and the C sharp, just like we did last time. So the 4 on the B and then the 4 on the C sharp, followed by that strumming there. So, and that leads into the a cappella part. So after the a cappella part happens, the key changes to the key of A, which is here. So, what goes on there is, he says, some girls that knows the meaning of love, hey, hit the highway, and then we go into a kind of solo of sorts. And the rhythm, so I could show you guys that, is really simple, and it goes, there's a bunch of different ways to play. You can play with open chords, or you can play with power chords. I'll show it here with power chords to keep it linear throughout how we did the whole song. So 5th fret on the first string goes like it goes from A, and then we go to a power chord on the 7th fret of the 5th string to the 3rd fret, back up to the 7th fret. So like we did, we now do on the 5th fret. So that's the rhythm for that part. And the solo I kind of mix up every single time I do it, but I do the one part the same. And it's kind of similar to the riffs that we've been following the whole song in terms of the pattern. However, this time it's slightly different, and I put my own little improvisational twist on it. So, so some girls knows the meaning of hey, hit the highway, and then I go. So right after the solo part, right after the a cappella part, it goes into a chorus. And like we just went over the riff where it went from A to E to D back to E, you go through that 4 times, and just listen to the record for the timing, because there are some stops. I'll go through one of them right here. So that's what would be the rhythm for the chorus. And one thing you'll hear kind of in the background floating in the mix is he does this one little riff, not exactly sure which one, but you'll be able to hear it. So it goes like this. So in the midst of the chorus it goes. It's actually on the second one, now that I think about it. Right before the stops we just did. And so all that is you play the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 4th string, and then go up to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. So you hammer on the 4th string, and then play the 3rd string note on the 2nd fret twice. And just add some vibrato on the end of it. So after that chorus, we kind of go into a riff that mimics the riffs that we did throughout the song. So like we did way in the beginning, we were, and then we went back up to F sharp, and then went to B, and then back up we did F sharp for the rest of the song up to this part. So we do something now similar that kind of mimics those parts, although it's not extremely similar because of some minor differences in the pattern of the note. So before the chorus, there was the a cappella, or the solo part, which was kind of random, and you could kind of do whatever you want, and kind of as long as you're staying in the A major pentatonic scale, you should be fine there. But now, this part is a little bit more structured, and it goes like this. So I'll play the last run through of the riff, and then I'll play the solo bit, and then we'll go through that. So. So you see it goes through, just like that. And then we go to a riff, which I'll get to in a second, which ends the song, while the drums do this sort of chugging on. So that goes simply, this key is still in A right after this chorus, and we go to the 17th fret of the second string and bend it up, bring it back down. And then we go, you can do it a little bit of a variation in different ways, because I know on the record it's slightly different each time. But you want to go from 15 to 14 on the second string, and then you go to 16 on the third string, and then instead of going to the 14th fret on the third string, you go to the 14th fret on the fourth string. So you just go down one string compared to what you would normally do. So that, I'll go through that again, I'll play the notes slowly. We notice that climb down goes. So that's really the only main difference. And now you do that on the first and the third times, that climb down. You could add a couple little extra notes in there like I did, whatever works for you. But on the second one, there's a step up of sorts, kind of like we did throughout the whole song. And that's kind of, you go between the 14th and the 15th, kind of you could do it like a little trill, or play it structured on the beat. But then you play that between 14 and 15, and then back up to the 17th fret, which I'll play for you now with the riff as it's played on the second time. Just like that. And you notice in between the two, there is a climb up, and it goes from 14 to 16 on the fourth string to 14 on the third string, and then you go from that note on the third string to the bend on the 17th fret of the second string. You do something to that effect, or you can go something like that, as long as it works. And I said on the third one, you do the original riff that we did the first time again. And so then right after the third one, you go into this little riff that was kind of very similar to the chunked riffs we played earlier. And those, so we did before, we had the 9 to 8 to 6 to 4, and then we did the step up. That was right in the beginning when the key changed from B flat to B. So we do something kind of similar to that, except it's 3 chunks of 2. Just like it was before, but it's just different chords. So here we play a power chord on the 6th string on the 5th fret, which is A. Then we go to the 7th fret on the 5th string, which is E. So it's a quick switch there. So it goes like this. Just like that. And that's the first chunk. And the second chunk is from 5 to 3 on the 5th string, so D to C. And then finally, we go from a B flat to an A as the last chunk. So A to E, D to C, B flat to A. So I'll play that for you now. Just like that, goes just like this. You just let that A ring out and the song fades out. So that's the rest of the song of I Need a Lover. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear from you. Any questions you have, please share. Please share it with me, and please share this video. It would be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, and keep rocking on. Take care.